Oh. Step number 10, part 2, calming your sugar blues. Hi, welcome everybody. It's Jason Barlow, RMT, and I'm here again as your therapist and as your coach to help you transform any stress, tension, and pain into health, happiness, and vitality. Ask yourself, when was it the last time you had a major sugar crash, and what exactly was it that you felt at that time? I think most people can relate to some experience that they may have had in their lives. I'm going to share one with you very shortly. But today we're centering in on part 2, reviewing my step number 10 I shared with you last week, which is in my 15-step playbook for pain relief. My food hazard number 1 is being aware of sugars. Sugar is a huge one in the food industry in terms of, it helps as a somewhat preservative. It obviously creates reactions in brain chemistry. They've studied this. There's actually a purpose for them doing this to entice you to want you to eat more foods. Because remember, if you reviewed last week, there's a part of your brain called the apostat. And when you have sugar, it stimulates that part of the brain, which consequently tells that part of the brain to keep eating. Therefore, the rest of your body reacts accordingly until nutrition arrives. So your desire for food, the serotonin responses that are happening, the dopamine release, that's all coming from a link to the apostat, which tells the body, okay, this feels good, it tastes good, okay, keep eating until nutrition arrives. But as we talked about last week, very often, nutrition doesn't arrive, especially in processed foods, chocolate bars, and so forth. They taste good, they look good, they're packaged very well, but ultimately, what is it doing to the package of our body is the question we need to be asking ourselves. Now, if you do take some time, digest my book quite literally, because in here I give you the secret sauce that helps overcome, cravings. If you're trying to reduce your body weight, if you're trying to reduce your pain and stress and tension, this is a golden nugget. Go get this book. It's free to download still. Just go to my website, jasonbarlowrmt.com, and leave me your email and I'll send you a digital copy straight away. If you want a physical copy like this, just go to Amazon and type in the 15-step playbook for pain relief. But the step I want you to understand is it's the dose that makes the poison. It is the dose that makes the poison. Too much of anything can become toxic to the body. Even water, sleep, as we know, sitting on your butt, not doing enough activity, doing too much activity. So all of these things that we're talking about, there's a scope of practice with them. I'm not saying to you, I want you to drink endless amounts every day. What I'm saying to you is you be sensible and figure out based upon your body weight what amount of water you should be consuming and ultimately listening to your body. That's a way more logical approach than this very loose canon of, drink as much as you possibly can. We have to quantify and qualify what it is that we're doing with our body and then monitor, get some metrics, understand your body's reactions and responses. Ultimately, I'm not wearing the right t-shirt today. This one says all muscles matter. But usually I have a t-shirt on there that says healthy, happy energy. That's what we're all capable of. And that's what we're all yearning for, is to lead a healthy, happy life. And so that needs to be the metric. Whatever you're doing, is it helping you to achieve more health, happiness, and vitality? And is it giving you that, enduring health, happiness, and vitality? Or is it actually sucking that health, happiness, and vitality away? So that's how you want to quantify what it is that I'm sharing with you. More about the calming your sugar blues, though. I remember this is before kids. So we would have been 20 years ago back in the UK. And we took a drive out to Yorkshire. And they're also famous for coffee shops and scones. And so there's this one particular cafe that we were highly recommended to go to. I think it's my parents that told me, you got to go here, you got to have the scones there, they're delicious. So me being me at the time, I wouldn't just get one, let's get 2 of those suckers. So I got 2 large scones and they were filled with, I like my butter on it. So they're warm scones, and picture this, and I'm probably getting you salivating right now. and I'm probably going to get you into sugar blue pretty quick because you're not having it. But just imagine, all right, big scone, 2 of them, slice it, it's warm, and melt the butter real quick, and then a layer of jam, and a layer of cream, and then I think I made it into like 2 sandwiches essentially. Where I'm going with this is there was a lot of sugar contained within those 2 scones. And this was probably the first time that I'd had this major response of having what I class as a sugar blue. I mean, it's essentially one of the symptoms is what is known as reactive hypoglycemia. So for somebody who's obviously a diabetic, this is even sharper in them. But I was getting this reaction of hypoglycemia, a sugar drop, after having these 2 scones. I remember starting to drive home, and I said to my wife, do you mind driving? So I got in the back of the vehicle, my wife drove, and I think I slept the entire 40-minute journey home. So that was a big sink. That was a big sugar crash, right? I'd had this huge dose of sugar. What that does to your pancreas right away is it kicks everything into effect to go, whoa, major alert, there's too much sugar getting into the bloodstream. Let's send out insulin right away. Let's reduce this blood sugar levels to get this, calmed down. And what we'll do is we'll shimmy that to other parts of the body, and we'll even offload into the muscles, and we'll convert into a little bit of fat too, so that we can get this guy's blood sugar levels back to a level of normality. Now, during that stage of recovery, that's when I was plunging into my sleep, which truthfully, it felt great to sleep. And then when I woke up, I felt re-energized and ready to go. But imagine if I was doing that every day or every week. Definitely, right? Comes back to what? It's the dose that makes the poison. So be logical, be simple about taking this approach. If you do find that you get this sugar slumps, you feel lethargic, you feel tired in the afternoons, look at how much carbohydrates you're actually consuming. Look at the quantities of carbs to fats to proteins. Very often, I believe I mentioned this last week as well, from my background as a metabolic typing advisor, is I learned I myself was a fast oxidizer. So for me, carbohydrates are like putting paper onto a fire. They erupt and burn and could get consumed very quickly. Whereas if I put a damp log on the same fire, that's going to take a lot longer for it to burn and essentially disintegrate. And that's the same with putting proteins and fats into a metabolism such as mine. Now, everybody's got a slightly different metabolism. What works for you won't necessarily work as well for me. What works in the breakfast might work great for me and it won't work for you, but you could eat that at lunch and it won't work great for me. There's a lot to that. And this is where we're all very individual. We're a fingerprint specific on the inside with our digestive system and our hormonal system. There's some general names and organs and glands, but the way they actually chemically react and respond, and to a certain degree the size and somewhat the location, is very fingerprint specific. And so we have to just consider that the human body is composed of so many aspects. Then we have the mind that comes into that. And the mind is highly, highly influential upon our biology and physiology. Now, do take some time this week. Go get my book so you can dive deeper into some of this material and then come back and join me on these podcast episodes. Every Thursday, I like to dive into my book a little deeper and give you some more information beyond what it is that I'm sharing in a very skimmed format in this book. Now, that's not to say this can't still benefit you. It is. It's designed to be short, sweet, pack a punch, get you results. It's 15 steps that you can follow. The way I've designed it, there's 4 areas of your health that you're able to control. Your mindset, your physical body, which includes your stretching and your moving, the foods that you choose to ingest, obviously, therefore, what you're choosing to purchase, and also then the rest and recovery element. Those are the things that are within your control. Everything else you can almost let go of. Focus on these 4 areas that you can control, broken down into 15 steps, and see what you can get by way of results. This is what I follow and what I've always followed. I just put it into a package of a book for you to read and digest and indulge yourself. Now, you want to go deeper. You're one of those people that's very scholarly, or you like to go beyond just the surface level. Then at the back of my book, I do have my Appendix 1, which is recommended reading. Now, if you're focusing in on the mindset, then you could just go to these books recommended here for mindset. If you're just looking at the physical body, moving and stretching and so forth, center it on these books. Foods, these books. Rest and recovery, these books. So these are from my side, the top 4 or 5 books for each of those areas that you can learn to control, that I've read, that I've studied, that I've thoroughly enjoyed, that I'm essentially assimilating that information and digesting it or putting it into a book that you can more easily digest. So you don't have to go read those books. But if you have the time, the ones I would most recommend are the ones within the mind. Because to me, you've got to jump headfirst into your health program. And if you haven't got it up here, then what you've got here isn't going to quite align. So you've got to get the two in sync with each other in order to get the results on an ongoing basis. Thank you very much for joining me. I hope you found that of benefit. As always, I'm here to serve you. Give me a thumbs up, a like, a comment, a dislike, something, anything. Just give me some information that's going to help me to help you better, as well as help reach more people. Thank you very much for your time. I bid you a great day, and we'll see you guys tomorrow for my book of the week. Join me. Thank you.